Hello, my name is Harika. I am working as Associate Professor in the Department of ECE at BVS Engineering College, Waterloo. In the last lecture, I will discuss about the block diagram of feedback amplifiers. Now, in this lecture, we will go with feedback topologies and general characteristics of negative feedback amplifier. First of all, we will see the feedback topologies. So you already know that the negative feedback amplifier consists of two sampling networks and two mixing networks. Based upon the sampling and mixing, the feedback amplifiers are classified into four types: voltage series feedback amplifier, voltage shunt feedback amplifier, current series feedback amplifier, and current shunt feedback amplifier. So here the important notes are that at the output, feedback element connected in parallel or shunt, that is called voltage sampling, and at the output the feedback element is connected in the series, that is called the current sampling, and all the input feedback elements is connected in parallel or shunt, so that is called the shunt mixing. Here the feedback signal is a current signal, whereas in the series case, so the feedback signal is a voltage signal. So based upon these two sampling networks and the mixing networks, we are having the four types of your feedback amplifiers. In this, the two figures represents your voltage series feedback amplifier and again a current series feedback amplifier. So here voltage series feedback amplifier, in that case the major block diagram, the major basic amplifier is a voltage amplifier, and here that mixing is a series mixing like this, and again the output is a voltage sampling. So here based upon that, this is called the voltage sampling. For voltage series feedback amplifier, the output resistance R0 is very low and the input resistance Ri is very high, because here we are using the voltage amplifier. The ideal values of R0 is 0 and Ri is infinity. Hence the basic amplifier is a voltage amplifier. In the current series feedback amplifier, the sampling network is the current sampling and the series is the mixing. So here based upon that sampling and this mixing, so we can call this is your current series feedback amplifier. In this current series feedback amplifier, the basic amplifier is a transconductance, because the input is a voltage source and output is a current. So the gain of this amplifier gives the ratio of output current by input voltage. So we require the basic amplifier is a transconductance amplifier. So in this amplifier, so the input resistance is high and output resistance is also high, and the values of your input resistance are Ri and R0, ideal values are the infinity. So next we will see that current shunt feedback amplifier and voltage shunt feedback amplifier. So first we will go with your current shunt feedback amplifier. So in this current shunt feedback amplifier, so the mixing is the shunt mixing and again the sampler is a current sampler, and here that input is a current source and output is also a current source. So that is the reason why here we require the basic amplifier is a current amplifier. So by using of your current shunt feedback amplifier, the ideal characteristics of its input resistance and output resistances are Ra value is 0 and R0 is infinity. So here that input resistance is low and output resistance is high. So input resistance is low is because your shunt mixing, and output resistance is high because of your current sampling. And this figure shows that your block diagram of voltage shunt feedback amplifier. So in this voltage shunt feedback amplifier, that input mixing is the shunt mixing and output sampler is a voltage sampler. So here that input is a current, so output is a voltage. So the gain is the ratio of output to voltage by input is the current Is. So that gives a basic amplifier is a trans resistance amplifier. In this trans resistance amplifier, the ideal values of the input resistance and output resistance are Ra value is 0 and R0 value is 0. Now we'll go the general characteristics of a negative feedback amplifier. These are the characteristics of a negative feedback amplifier: transfer gain, stability of the gain, nonlinear distortion, noise distortion, frequency distortion, and input and output resistances. First we'll discuss with the transfer gain. To understand this transfer gain, let us consider a schematic representation of your feedback amplifier. So here, when you take in the schematic representation, the signal source, voltage source we are taking here is a Vs, and this represents your mixer network, and here the basic amplifier, and next the feedback amplifier. So the output of the basic amplifier is connected to the input of a feedback amplifier, and the output coming from your feedback amplifier again gives to a mixer, and final output coming from your mixer network, so that is gives to the basic amplifier. So this is represents the schematic diagram of feedback amplifier. So in this case, if you observe here, the feedback signal is represented with the plus or minus, and here also the basic amplifier input if you taken is a Vi, so that Vi is equal to the signal source is Vs, plus or minus your feedback signal is a Vf. Now see the analysis of this one. So let us see here, the input of the basic amplifier is a Vi and output of the basic amplifier is a V0. The input voltage of the basic amplifier Vi is equal to signal source is a Vs plus your feedback signal is a Vf. Here the plus sign for the positive feedback and minus sign is for the negative feedback. And next the feedback factor, that is of your feedback amplifier, that we represent with the beta. Now that beta is equal to, so output voltage Vf by and input is a V0, and therefore the feedback voltage Vf is equal to the beta into V0. The overall gain of the feedback amplifier is the ratio of the output voltage to the input voltage externally applied. So that feedback amplifier voltage AF is equal to output is a V0 and externally applied voltage is the signal source is the Vs. But your basic amplifier without the feedback, the gain is A is equal to V0 by Vi. Therefore from this we can write V0 is equal to A into Vi. Now the Vi is we are having, so the Vi is nothing but your signal source is the Vs, and plus or minus your signal source output from your feedback amplifier is a Vf. So therefore according to that Vi, if we substitute a Vi value here, A into Vs plus or minus Vf, and Vf is nothing but the transfer gain value into the output voltage. So after substituting that, we will get this expression, that is A into Vs plus or minus beta V0, and the total V0 is equal to this value. And just if you bring that values of V0 to the one side, then your V0 is minus or plus beta A V0 equal to A Vs. So from that one your V0 we can add it as A Vs by 1 minus or plus beta A. So for positive feedback, AF is equal to, so A by 1 minus beta A, and for the negative feedback, so AF is equal to A by 1 plus beta A. You have to remember that the transfer gain of the negative feedback amplifier is equal to A by basic amplifier gain by 1 plus feedback ratio into basic amplifier gain, so 1 plus beta A. And if AF is less than A, because 1 plus A beta is greater than A. So this is a condition for the feedback amplifier, where A beta is called the loop gain. So the transfer gain of your negative feedback amplifier is AF equal to A by 1 plus beta A. Now we will see the second characteristics of negative feedback amplifier, that is the stability of the gain. So to understand the stability of the gain, so let us take your simplified expression instead of taking your voltage. Here the same schematic diagram is represented only for the negative feedback amplifier by taking XS. Here the X may be voltage or current. So XS is equal to Xi equal to Xx minus Xf basic amplifier X0, and the same, the X0 is gives to the input of feedback network. So the same analysis what you did in the previous one, the transfer gain of your amplifier, in the same manner here we are taking instead of V, we are taking the X. That here X is represents both the voltage, maybe voltage or current. Based upon your amplifier, we can take that is the voltage or the current. So basic amplifier gain for this schematic representation, we can write A is equal to X naught by Xi. Feedback factor beta is equal to Xf, that is the output of your amplifier, feedback network output Xf by your X naught. So overall gain of your feedback amplifier AF is equal to, so X naught Xs. The same what you did in the previous slide, so the same here also will get the same, but here in terms of your X. So after substituting all these values, then your overall gain of your feedback amplifier is A by 1 plus A beta, where 1 plus A beta is greater than 1. If loop gain A beta is a large, so then 1 plus A beta is greater than 1. So therefore your A beta is greater than 1, then your AF equal to A by 1 plus A beta. So A beta is a greater than 1, so then we can write 1 plus A beta is also nearly equal to the A beta. So therefore AF is equal to A by A beta. So A is a cancel, then we'll get the AF is equal to 1 by beta. So from this relation, we understood that the feedback amplifier gain is inversely proportional to the feedback network transfer ratio. The overall gain of the feedback amplifier is determined by the feedback network and it is not by the gain of the basic amplifier. As the feedback network consists of stable passive elements, the stability of the gain is improved. Variation in the supply voltage, variation of the parameters of the active device transistor due to temperature variations or aging effect will not have any effect on feedback amplifier gain, although they affect the basic amplifier gain. So we can tell that, so if the loop gain, that is 1 plus A beta, is greater than 1 in such conditions, so that basic amplifier gain is not plays a major role in the overall feedback amplifier gain. It may be the basic amplifier gain may be varies based upon the different things, that is rise of your collector current as the temperature is increases or any aging effects of the transistor. This will not affect your gain of the feedback amplifier. If the loop gain is not large, then how to find the stability of this feedback amplifier? To understand this, just the stability of the gain can be found by differentiating the AF with respect to the A. So we are having your AF is equal to A by 1 plus A beta. Then if differentiating that equation 1 with respect to the A, then we'll get this expression by applying the U by V rule. So in this case, then after doing the differentiation, then we'll get the dAF by dA is equal to 1 by 1 plus beta whole square, like this. And equation 2 can be rearranged like this. So the square is rearranged like this for our convenience, and after bring these values, after writing this 1 by 1 plus A beta and A by 1 plus beta A and 1 by A. So just we are rearranging like this. So here A by 1 plus beta A is nothing but your AF. So in place of this one, we are writing AF by A, and dAF by dA is equal to, so finally we are having the 1 by 1 plus beta A, and sorry, here we are getting dAF by AF, not dA. dAF by AF is equal to 1 by 1 plus beta into dA by A. Therefore, the ratio of the fractional change in the overall gain AF to the fractional change in the gain A of the basic amplifier gives the sensitivity S of the transfer gain to changes in the basic amplifier. So the sensitivity of your amplifier is defined dAF by AF by dA by A, that is equal to 1 by 1 plus beta A. The reciprocal of the sensitivity is called the D sensitivity value is a D. And as D sensitivity is greater than 1 for the negative feedback amplifier, the percentage of change in AF is less than that of A, so that the overall stability of the gain is better. means the D sensitivity value is a mode. So the D sensitivity value is 1 plus A beta. This value is a mode, means that stability of the feedback amplifier is a very high. Now we see the next characteristics, that is reduction in the nonlinear distortion. So nonlinearity in the transistor characteristics of the amplifier's active device distorts the output signal when a large amplitude signal is applied to the amplifier's input. So let us check. The amplifier gain is A, the distortion without the feedback is D, and the amplifier gain with feedback is AF, and the distortion with feedback is DF. The feedback signal distortion is represented with the beta into DF. So for after amplification, the distortion is A into beta into DF. Therefore, the net distortion of the output is equal to the original value plus distorted output. So the DF we can write as D minus A beta into DF. So that DF, if you bring to the side, then we will get that distortion with feedback DF is equal to D by 1 plus beta A. So from this expression we can also tell us that distortion value is that negative feedback amplifier distortion is the reduces. Next we will see the reduction in the noise. Noise is an unwanted signal which is added to the amplifier. The amplifier output consists of the output signal and the noise signal. So from this figure, the feedback signal noise voltage is beta N beta V into NF, that is a noise with feedback. So after amplification, the output noise voltage is minus beta A V NF. So net noise, that is the original noise plus your output voltage noise. So then we will get here also. So that noise signal NAF is equal to Pn by 1 plus beta A. So this is the without your noise, and this one is with is a noise of a basic amplifier, and this is with the noise in the feedback amplifier. With the negative feedback, the noise is reduced by a factor of 1 plus beta A. Now we will see the reduction of the frequency distortion. If the amplifier amplifies a signal by different amounts for different values of low frequency, then it is called the low frequency distortion. The low frequency gain of the basic amplifier is given by, now we have seen in the previous videos that RC couple amplifier, if we consider that basic gain at a low frequency is, so mid frequency gain by 1 minus J F1 by F. So where in the same, where AL is the low frequency gain, AM is a mid frequency gain, and F1 is a lower cutoff frequency. Here is a lower off hour frequency, that is lower cutoff frequency. So if the amplifier amplifies the signal by different amounts for different values of the high frequencies, then it is called the high frequency distortion. So that high frequency gain of the basic amplifier is AH is equal to mid frequency gain by 1 plus J into F by F2. This figure represents the frequency distortion, frequency response of negative feedback amplifier, and with feedback and without feedback. So here this represents your normal frequency response of RC couple, so without your feedback. So that is maximum gain is AM, and the 3 dB frequency is AM by root 2. So the same we will see that feedback amplifier gain is this one. Here when you observe that, so by using your low frequency and your high frequency, what are the changes we will get in the feedback amplifier? Now we can do with some analysis. So to get this analysis, so from your equation 1 and 2 in the previous slide, so from that one we can write your A lower cutoff frequency with feedback is the AL by 1 plus beta into AL, and higher cutoff frequency with feedback is AH by 1 plus beta AH. Now substitute your equation 1 in the equation 3, then we will get this expression, because your equation 1 is nothing but your AL is equal to mid frequency AM by your 1 plus J by F1 by F. So substituting this equation 1 and 3, after solving they will get these values. And similarly by solving your equation 2 and the equation 4, so then we'll get this your value mid frequency gain with respect to the high frequency value AHF. The negative feedback reduces the lower of power frequency 1 plus beta AM and increases the higher of power frequency by 1 plus beta AM. So from your equation 5, 6 and 7 we can conclude that bandwidth is increases with feedback. The frequency distortion is reduces as the bandwidth is increases. Then the negative feedback increases the bandwidth of the amplifier. With feedback, the mid-band gain reduces by the same factor by which the higher cutoff frequency increased. Hence, the gain bandwidth product with feedback is equal to the gain bandwidth product of the without feedback. So, that is gain bandwidth product with feedback is this one. Without product is gain into the bandwidth, and so without feedback, and the total, this value is the substituting, so the total value, so that is gain bandwidth product without feedback is equal to the with feedback. So then we will get here is a F2 is greater than your F1, so bandwidth is equal to the F2, so bandwidth is on the feedback is also equal to the F2. So total AM F2 is equal to mid frequency gain with feedback into the frequencies of F2F. So to get your better idea of this frequency distortion, just have to solve by taking your paper and pen. So then we'll get these expressions. So after substituting of equations, solving equation 1 and 3 and equation 2 and 4, so we'll get that values. So now see that feedback frequency response. So just after seeing the frequency response, after deriving your F lower cutoff frequency with feedback and higher cutoff frequency with feedback. So when you see in this figure, here represents that basic amplifier gain. So that is that lower cutoff frequency is F1 and your F2. And with feedback, the F1 value is the decreases and again F2 value is the increases. So that is the reason why here compared with your without the feedback, with feedback the lower cutoff frequency is decreased. So whereas in the higher cutoff frequency with feedback and without feedback is you observe. So with feedback the higher cutoff frequency is increases F2F. So that is the bandwidth of your feedback amplifier is increased. As the bandwidth is increases, so the noise distortion is decreases. So in this lecture just we will see about the feedback network topologies and the simple 3 characteristics I covered here: the transfer gain, stability of the gain, and distortion, noise distortion, and your frequency distortion is covered. In the next slides, in the next video, I will discuss about the input and output impedances of your feedback amplifiers. Thank you.